Hey kids, we're back. You are now watching Guitar Quackery Live, the one and only live streaming guitar repair channel. And that's what you're watching. So, I work here. This is Guitar Quackery, located in New York City, in Midtown Manhattan, inside of this studio. Music studio called Bob Elliott's Music Makers NY. Look what I got. It's an Eastman guitar. Eastman. And what is the model name number? AR? Yeah, AR-580 CE-HB. Oh, look at that. Aficionados in the house. And two more. 3 people watching already. Yeah, I took a little break from live streaming because I had just too much work piled up and I just had to bang it out. Yeah. You know, for every live stream, I need to take a picture. I need to make a thumbnail, this and that. I need to make sure I do it at a time when I won't be interrupted or when I'm less likely to be interrupted. So yeah, but I thought I would live stream this one. And you know, I forgot to ask the guy. I meant to ask him. I think he said that we're keeping these strings. These are flat wounds. And I believe he said they're kind of new. Okay, we'll try. Or you know what? Maybe I'll text him. I'll text him. Please, just a moment. Okay. Let me see if it says anything here about strings. No. Oh yeah, he's out of town. Oh man, I can't text him. I think he's out of the country. Or can I text him? Right, okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what I'm doing today. I'll text him. So he won't be picking up this guitar until after April 11th. In 6 days. Okay, I wish I had looked at the paper before putting this guitar on the workbench. Okay, I got him right here. Take a picture. Well, this is your first time watching. You are watching a live stream, so this is how it is. Okay, and you know, I like to dictate. Are we keeping the same strings? Question mark. And you know, it's showing up in green. So I think he's out of town. Oh, did you hear that? Yeah. All right. Let's see what he says. Yeah, you know, that's a tough one. We need to fix the nut. And these are flat wounds. I think he said they were new. As you know, I need to keep unwinding the strings to file the nut. And that fatigues the strings, so I hope they don't break. I don't like to... This camera says lens error. Restart camera. What the hell? What kind of lens error? Let's remove the lens. I think it's this cable that's plugged in. All right, let's restart the camera. All right, sorry about that. I hope the equipment doesn't fail me. Okay. Functions are limited, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. Let's get to work. Jeffrey Boyle is in the house. Okay. I don't know what gauges. Well, since I'm streaming, okay, 0. What do I have here? 49 gauge, 36 gauge, 27. Okay. What did I say? 49. So that's going to be a 50 gauge file. This one. All right. Nice looking guitar. It does remind me of a D'Acquisto guitar I worked on fairly recently. I think it's probably inspired by some D'Acquisto New Yorker model, I guess. Yeah, so Eastman, you know, they make high quality guitars, but they are in fact copying Gibson, and in this case, probably Jamie D'Acquisto. I don't think they come up with their own models too much. I was in London recently, and I stumbled upon a guitar shop that I think they only sold Eastman guitars. Or maybe they had some other models, brands, but I think mostly Eastman guitars. I wanted to talk to the owner, but he was busy, so we didn't get to talk. Yeah, because I wanted to do a little, like, recording or something for the main channel, but then the owner was busy, so I just didn't want to assume that it would be okay to do any kind of filming there. I lost my audience. I think everyone left. It says 0 viewers right now. What can I tell you? I have a popular channel. It's a bone nut. Looks like a bone nut. Let's see. Okay, so some of the strings are too high. Not so much the low E, but just a little bit maybe. So here is the string slot. I am going to mark off where I put it. Oh, come on, here it is. Right. Mechanical pencil. And I just realized, once again, I forgot to protect this part. Yeah, I'll do it. Just give me 2 seconds. Let's have a look. All right, let me remove the truss rod cover because I want to put a piece of tape there. I got some comments. $500. Oh, okay. So should I continue talking or not? Because no one's watching. Why should I? Why should I talk if no one's watching? I mean, how likely is it that anyone will watch this replay? Well, now I do have an audience. 2 people just joined. So now I guess I do need to talk. Yeah, we're just perfecting the nut on this guitar. It's not broken. I'm fixing it anyway. Oh, it's just a little bit too high. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah, so you can see how the string is seated, flat wound. Okay. And now let me just check the height. This one looks pretty good, but I want to take a measurement. I mean, it could be lower. Yeah, let's make it a bit lower. I think I need to focus this camera, yeah, like this. Very lightly, you know, just kind of hovering over the, not really hovering, but we can go lower. It is a bone nut. It's very low now, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, it's about 20 microns, or 2/100ths of a millimeter. Little gap there that we have. That's it. Not going to go any lower. It's time to work on the A string. So the customer is out of town. I think out of the country, which means I can't communicate with him right now. All right, so next string is 36 gauge, I think. What'd I say? Yeah, 36 gauge. So here. So here, what I think we're seeing is, yeah, I think we need to correct the back of the nut, right? Let me see if I put this. Now let's put the string back. Let's see what is rubbing off. Okay. I think just one more pass and we'll be done. I'm basically doing just scratch removal right now. Barely removed any material. Okay, it's good. I still see a tiny gap. Yeah, it's about 20 microns. Same as here. Yeah. So now, I think this was a 28 gauge. Let me see. Yeah. All right. So this is it, the D string. So if we tune it, I just want to make sure it's not wiggling at the front. And now let me just check the height. Yeah. Like I said in the title, we're not repairing the nut, we're just perfecting it. It's just slightly higher, but it's not bad in any way. Well, I mean, one thing that I don't like about this string slot is it is too wide. So now you can see that. Okay, so how about if I plug the string? Let me see. Yeah, I don't like that little motion that happens here. I'm not sure I can do much about this without so I can still file it lower, and that might help me correct it. Where are we? Yeah, I'm not too talkative today. Well, you know, live streaming doesn't come naturally to me. Some people can just talk and talk and talk. And, you know, I don't do a lot of small talk. Okay, so we got about 60 microns. I can go lower, obviously. And that would be beneficial in this case, because we want to cut a little groove, narrower groove inside of the wider one, right? And you know, I think I fixed it. If you look at that, now when I wiggle the string, I don't see that much motion here inside past this line, right? When I do this, it seems to be seated better. And all I'm doing is the same thing that I was doing before, like that. So it seems to be better. Well, that's why I get paid the big bucks. Now you know. And the height seems to be good now. Man, it's 20 microns also. I can show you that. So that would be two little check marks, 2/100ths of a millimeter. Okay, right there. Yeah, I'm gonna call this good. Now we move on to the G string. Does it really make a difference? Yeah, I think so. Well, you know, especially when when people bring me a guitar with a nut really high, and I file it down, it makes a big difference. So next string is 20 gauge. Oh yeah, I got a 20 gauge file. Oh, great. That's good. Here it is. Now let's remove the string. It's neat how this looks. And what do we have there at the back? What is that? I don't know. Well, I guess we will see that's a 20 gauge file. Oh no, that's a 24. I'm glad I checked. That's a 20 gauge file. Here it says 20 as well. I'm gonna touch it up at the back. Oh, that was just some lubricant or something. Look at that. Well, I'm just noticing that the tuning machine is really loose, the bushing, so I need to tighten it a bit on this string. Come on. Maybe this one. Oh yeah. What about this one? This one's good. Yeah, this one's also good. Okay, looks well seated. You know, to be honest, this actually looks better here than it did just moments ago, right? Because it was kind of moving inside a little bit. I think I remember seeing that. And now we just want to check the height. So we got 80 microns. Also known as 8/100ths of a millimeter. The other day, I almost cut on another guitar the B string slot too low, almost. So that happens sometimes. Well, last time I remember it happening was quite a long time ago, fortunately. I like the sound of this, but I think it's still a little too high. Let me see. Yeah. Just a little bit. we are definitely outside of the safe zone with this, so we got to be really careful how we file it. Just a little more. You know, come to think, maybe there's a pack of strings in the bag, in the case. I need to check. So here we are at, what is this? Hold on. 40 microns. Let me check in the bag. Maybe there's a pack of strings. In the case. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah. There is. So these are the strings, okay, that we're gonna put. All right, so, and I did text the customer about the strings. I said, are we keeping the same strings? So that made me look like a fool. So now I gotta text him back. Never mind, I found the strings. Okay. Bear with me. Never mind. Comma. I found the strings. Period. Okay. Like I said before, that's why I get paid the big bucks. All right. Just a little bit more on this one. Make sure I don't cut too deep, and it'll be just right. Looks pretty good. See? All right. Okay, I think this is the last pass. It's a well-kept guitar. Okay. This looks good. I know you can't hear the sound. It sounds good to me. All right. That's good. Okay, so next string is 16 gauge and then 12 gauge. And let me just double check just to make sure. Hold on. 12. Perfect. All right. I have an Archtop guitar like that. Well, I mean, not like this one, similar. It's a Gibson, what's it called? Gibson L7C, which means it has a cutaway. From 1968 or 69, something like that. I like the guitar, but the nut is too narrow for me. So let's have a look at this one. I think it kind of moves inside. So let's remove the string and have a look. Oh, you know what, but before I do, let me take a measurement of the height. Okay, so it's way, way, way too high, which is a good thing in this case because we can compensate. So I think the see, the string slot is just too wide. So it's like a V shape string slot, and you know, I'm not a big fan of that shape. So, well, I think we have that lubricant at the back again. Is that it? Yeah, I mean, the bottom just looks so. When I look through the microscope, it's a stereo microscope. Stereo means I get a spatial. I can, see the space like in 3D because it's got two optical systems, and I can see that the bottom is kind of like, too wide, really. So we're just gonna cut a narrower groove inside at the bottom of this, and hopefully that'll trap the string better. You see, like that. Well, we don't want to cut too deep, so we need to check now. I have a very, very slim margin to work with, so, but this already looks better. Look at that. See? Less motion inside. And I think, well, first I need to measure the height. If I cut it a little deeper like that, oh yeah, I still got plenty of height to work with. So again, that's a good thing in this case. And here we go. So here you can see through the microscope how there's a new shiny witness point right there, right? And I'm going to mark off the bottom. See, this string slot is just so wide, I can put this entire mechanical pencil inside, and that's, well, I can't usually do this on the B string. Yeah, it looks good. Well, I'm glad I have a microscope so I can really explain what I'm doing. You get to see. Okay, so let's wiggle it. Look at that, much better. Right, let's zoom in all the way. So I think this string is completely right now well nested, right? When I do this, I just push it like this, and you can see the little motion. And now I can measure the height. And you know what? The good news is that it's about 110 microns in height here, right? Between the string and the thread when I do this, which means I can still file it lower. And that's a good thing because I am going to reshape this string slot further. So it's real important that the string doesn't wiggle at the front edge of the nut, that it's not wiggling inside. I think for obvious reasons that I don't really need to explain. And let's see. Look at that. Really nice and firm, right? Oh, we're stuck. Okay, check the height. I can still file it lower. B string, right? Yeah, I wish I had a way of knowing how much to file without having to put the string on and off all the time. But yeah. There is a way to kind of do it in an approximate thing with feeler gauges. There's a jig. StewMac sells it. I could never really make that thing work. Okay, we are at 50 microns. We could just leave it like that, like this, but I'm gonna go a little lower. And we are really removing small amounts for sure. So now we're at 30 microns. And, you know, I am just going to leave it at 30. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we fixed this. All right, one more string. It's a 12 gauge string, and I got a 13 gauge file for that one. Here it is. And put this file away. So next thing will be fret dressing, and then setup, and then we're done. Do we have the same issue here? Slightly, right? I think I can see this. A little wiggle there. First thing I'll do is I'll measure the string height. So this one, I have a smaller margin to work with. We are at 100 microns height relief. So what I call a relief is this height here. After pushing down on the string against the second fret, whatever's left is the relief. But this is the action of the nut. So the relief of the nut and the action. I never measure the action, I only measure relief. Let's have a look. Now once again, I wonder if this is just a lubricant at the back. Possibly. What I'm seeing here is a shiny surface, which is the witness point, or line in this case, that the string left from the tip, from the front of the nut to about here. So this whole length is too long. I want it to end around here, which means I'm first going to hit the back of the nut. So reshaping the back helps because yeah, we want the string to be anchored at the front without any wiggling. So this alone might have already helped the situation, okay? And what I'm going to do is I am going to put the string back now, because I'm not sure if I'm going to measure the same height now that I took some material from the back. Just double checking. No, we still have the same height. Okay. That's good news. Oh, let me see if it's still wiggling. Yeah, it's still wiggling. Okay. So now I want to know how much of a witness point the string left now. You see? This is a much better situation. It's a short spike. And now I just get to remove material from the entire length of the string slot. And again, I'm basically cutting like I did on the B string or the other strings, some of them, a smaller groove inside of the big string slot. Inside of the wide string slot, right? And you know, I want to know if this already did anything. You can see that it's no longer wiggling, right? And again, all I'm doing is I'm just pushing the string like this, basically simulating this, right? Yeah. I mean, they cut a fairly decent nut at the factory, but I guess they don't have a microscope. Yeah, the back end didn't feel right, so I had to do a little, open it up a little bit. Will be done soon with the nut. Look at that, much better. I don't see any wiggling anymore inside of the string slot. And we need to just measure the height to decide what to do next. So we have 60 microns. We can do one more pass for sure. I want it to be smooth, so this is scratch removal right now. It looks good. I'm at 30 microns. I'm good. And here, look at that. Okay, it's nice and tight as I do this. So we're done with the nut. Okay. That took 54 minutes and 29 seconds. Okay, so next, do a setup on the guitar. But first, we do some fret dressing. Well, first I put my tools away. All right. I think this will be the only live stream for the day. I worked on some other stuff today here, nothing to do with the guitars. Just installing some upgrades on the alarm system. Yeah. So, yes, there is an alarm system, actually more than one. So, redundancies, we need that. Okay. So before we do any fret polishing or dressing, Just want to take some measurements. How about I put the camera here for change? Okay. Is that in focus? Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Let's get the straight edge out and the feeler gauges. It's not really tuned to pitch. It's fine, I just want to get an idea. I guess this new camera angle doesn't really work too well, right? Let's see what we got. 5/1000ths. Same thing, I think. It's really tight. So 5/1000ths, 6 isn't going to fit. Yeah, I didn't expect it to fit. We can just leave the truss rod alone, although it's good to exercise it a little bit. I want to know if it feels really stiff or if it needs any lubrication. So this is all I'm going to do is this. I remember the orientation of this. Release the truss rod. And put it back. And you know, it was at 5/1000ths, maybe a little less to get 6/1000ths, but we'll do the final setup with the new strings tuned to exact pitch, obviously. Now, what else? I guess I want to measure the scale length here. It's a 25-inch scale length. And here we have a little bit of a compensation. So this is more or less, sorry, I'm yawning, the correct position for the bridge. Yeah, right around here. Let me see. Well, it's actually slanted a little bit in this direction. So, we'll do a little fine tuning later. Let's take the strings off. So these are expensive strings, so they're the flat wounds and they're a bit expensive. I'm not going to cut the strings, I'm just going to unwind them. Just in case, you know, sometimes I keep old strings, like bass strings, for setups or whatever, you know, something I need to do. I think if you've watched some other videos on this channel, you've seen me use reclaimed bass strings a couple of times. But these are flat wounds, so once again, they don't show up every day, so just going to save them in case I need them for something. So I don't really like the Eastman headstock shape. It's too wide. The space between the D and G tuning machines is simply too large, in my opinion. Hold on, I need something. That's dangerous. Walking over the cable there. Yeah, like that. So when you work on guitars like this, it's a good idea to protect the soundboard before you remove all the strings. So I'm going to, oh, that's the bass side is already kind of, so I don't like the bottom of this bridge, not at all. It left 2 marks, and it's because of the way it's shaped. It has a channel. Not a good thing at all. I regret to say. And I just want to document this because I am, documenting this job. So that's what I see. You can see those 2 lines. Okay. Quite severe over here. And that's just because this bridge, so let me take this off, isn't flat. It's concave. So if I take a straight edge, like this maybe, you can see that. Look at that. Throughout. So I guess in theory that's kind of okay, because you get good closure all around this bridge. What is it called? Footer. And I guess in theory you would never need to move it, right? It should always be in one spot. But in this case, it was a little bit like that in this direction, right? And I could see that because this was not aligning exactly with the center of the F hole. So it needs to be nudged a little bit like that. And now when we look at it from this side, we can see this line. Okay, maybe not this much, but yeah, okay. All right. So I guess I'll put it back where it was. It's not a exact compensation anyway. So maybe they had to nudge it a little bit. We'll see. But yeah, so I've never seen a concave, what did I say before? Convex? It's concave, right? Shape like that on the bottom. All right. And it's an expensive guitar. What's the value? Let me see here what the customer said. Value, declared value, $1,800. I thought it was more. Okay, it's $1,800. I'll put these strings over here. I want to remove this. So it's not touching the soundboard. You know, it's not touching the soundboard. I just want to remove it for safety. And maybe there's something to be cleaned. I don't know. No, I kind of like this design. You don't need to remove the strap button. Just 2 screws hold the tailpiece. Just like that. Oh no, there's another screw. 3 screws. I didn't see that. It's under the strap button there. But you always need to remove the strap button in addition to the screws holding the tailpiece, because usually the strap button is screwed on top. And here you can see. Oh, come on. Okay. It's got a bigger hole. Wrong screwdriver. We're going to tighten it a bit. Okay, cool. There's a grounding wire here. It's safe, no problem. Okay, yeah, it's pretty clean. So this is how it's made. 5 Phillips head screws are holding the ebony attached to the brass. So if this was based on a D'Acquisto guitar, Jimmy did not use metal, right? He just used just ebony. And he was talking about the sound, how it helps the sound. So, all right, so here there's metal. And I'll remove this as well. So we have 2 screws here, no problem. I think I need the other size, the other tip. It's dark. Let me see. No. So I guess technically this tip is too small. It's a size in between, I think. Kind of. Let me see if both screws move before I remove one of them. Yeah, they both do. Okay. So this is definitely based on a D'Acquisto model. I don't know if you watched my live stream of me working on the D'Acquisto guitar. Okay. And here there's a piece of foam, which did not leave a mark. Okay, that's great. You know, I gotta say, this is well made, right? Really well made. Okay. Gold-plated components are not easy to clean and polish, so it's important to keep them shiny, because once they build up that patina, sometimes it's impossible to clean them. Okay. Let me just clean up the mess here a little bit. This was a quite busy week for me. I know I wasn't live streaming, but I was really busy, which is one of the reasons why I wasn't live streaming. Okay, so it's a 25-inch scale length. I'm going to use this neck rest. Let's check the frets. Just make sure that there are no uneven frets on this guitar. Very good. Perfect. Okay. That's great. Now I want to also check the span of, you know, just like, what is this, a 6.5-inch span? It's not always the same number of frets because these frets are closer together, right? Just looking for humps. So the truss rod is a bit tight, right? So I should be seeing a back bow when I use the long straight edge. Let me see. Yep, a little bit. It wiggles just a little bit. All good. And now I'm just going to sight down both sides of the fingerboard, just to make sure I don't see any roller coasters or anything like that. No, it actually looks perfect. It's a well-made guitar, for sure. Not for my collection, but I have to say it's a really well-made guitar. So you should never over-tighten these bushings because it can damage the veneer, headstock veneer, or lacquer or whatever. All looks good. Now, need to decide how to polish the frets. We shouldn't always do the same procedure, right? These frets are quite good, so I don't want to use like all these grits of sandpaper. I'm just going to go and hit it with a buffing wheel and see on one fret if I get the results I want. And if not, maybe I'll use some of the really finer grits. Let's see, right? Let's see what we get. So I don't have a fret shield for this scale length, 25-inch scale length. So I'm going to use this fret guard instead, okay? And move up the fretboard. What's moving here? This. All right. Look at that. I trimmed them at the exact same length, almost. I missed by 0.5 millimeter on this one. Yeah, that's experience. Again, that's why I get paid the big bucks. All right. Let's do some buffing. Here we go again. And I got this. So I'm gonna cover the guitar. You know, I have these covers. I'm not sure if one of them might fit. Why not? How about this one? I just used it on another guitar, actually. It kind of fits good enough. Right. It's not made for this guitar, but I'm not going to cut one for this guitar because I don't know how often I'll get to work on this model. All right. Oh, you know what? I need a drink. Oh, I only drink water. I need a drink means I'm thirsty. Yeah, I don't drink any alcohol. I'm not a recovering alcoholic. I just don't drink. It's not that I never tasted alcohol. I just never really liked it. So there. Let's see. Okay, and now let me check. Yeah, man. No sandpaper needed. Yeah, so once again, it's important not to go through all the grits of polishing and buffing if it's not needed. So, and it's not really because it is a waste of time. It would be a waste of time. But because any polishing or buffing technically is removing material, so let's not remove any material any more than needed. Not to mention everything you do to a guitar, you are taking a risk. So every procedure. So if you have, let's say, like 9 stages of grits, well, on every stage, you are taking a small risk that something will not be right. And there's a risk to benefit ratio, right? And in that case, hypothetical case, the potential benefit would be exactly 0, but you're still taking a risk, small risk, but no benefit. So yeah, this is going to come out good. I would say for $1,800, that's a good value. All right. I know it's a Chinese-made guitar, but let's not compare it to like the mass-produced Chinese-made guitars. This is like in its own league of, you know, Chinese-made guitars. It's just not the same as buying even an Epiphone. And that's the thing, that, you know, they can make a guitar, technically speaking, better than Gibson, but it'll never be a Gibson. I remember when they first came out. So I told you I have an L7C. So when I was looking, so I had that guitar for I don't know how many years. Actually, you can kind of do the math, because I bought it right around the time when Eastman came out with its first models. I don't know how long ago was that, a long time. But within my lifetime, obviously. And I went to Rudy's Music for the umpteenth time, and I said, you know, I'm still looking for an Archtop with a cutaway. And I remember, what was the guy's name? Gordon, I think. He said, well, we just got this new brand, Eastman. And he said, you want to check it out? Never heard of it before. I said, yeah, they're made in China, but they're really, really good. I mean, I could see that the guitar she showed me. It could have been one of those models. I don't know. But it really wasn't what I was looking for. So I wanted a Gibson Archtop. So within a few months from then, I did manage to get one. I kind of specifically wanted an L7C. Yeah. And I remember looking at one at Matt Umano Guitars. Was that on Bleecker Street somewhere around that area? But it was so banged up, and expensive. So I didn't buy it. Eventually I found one, the one that I bought. I found it online, so I took a chance. But it was direct from a dealer. There was no reverb back then. I should bring it in one day and work on it. I haven't played that guitar in ages. It's got imperfections, just like most Gibson guitars do. Yeah. But it's a Gibson. It's got inlays like this, very similar. You can tell that people who make these guitars, they actually do care about quality a lot. So I don't know how much some people might be put off by Eastman because the guitars are made in China. I'm not really sure. I refretted an Eastman once. I have another Eastman in the vault. It's not an Archtop. What needs to be done on it? Oh, it's being rehumidified right now. Yeah. So I'll be checking on it later. Yeah, man, the frets look good. I always tell people that they should polish their frets, and they should buy the Music Nomad fret polishing kit. I guess I should put a link in the description. Comes with 3 of these fret guards. Today's a rainy day in New York City. Oh, here I am talking about the weather now. Yeah, so I always take my bike to work, even when it rains. By bike, I mean bicycle, not motorcycle. Okay, time to change the little thingy. So I noticed that sometimes when it gets warmed up, I can kind of smell the enamel a little bit from the motor, and I burnt one motor. So now I kind of change it halfway through. I have a confession to make. Sometimes when I switch the camera, it's just because I need to yawn, so I don't want to do it on camera. I don't know if you can hear it when I yawn. It's loud. See, they don't close the door always. So the studios do have double doors, but they only work when they're closed. It's kind of like guitar humidifiers. You know how many times people bring me a guitar that's all dried up? And I said, and I asked, well, do you ever use like a guitar humidifier? Yeah, I have one, but you know, I haven't put water in it in a couple of years. I even had a guy, he brought me a guitar that was all dried up, I remember it was a Martin guitar. Surprise. And he had a humidifier in the sound hole, but no sponge inside. It was just the box. I guess maybe he threw the sponge away, thinking, that's just annoying. Amazing. He actually did have the box, the empty box, between the strings. And then, you know, he left the guitar, and then he's taking pictures. I'm like, why are you taking pictures? And he says, oh, I'm going to miss my guitar. When will it be ready? And I said, you know, the sign says, I don't know. So, do you think it will be ready later this week? I don't know. We're rehumidifying a guitar, so definitely not later this week. Two weeks? 3 weeks? I don't know. I'll call you when it's ready. So, I actually purchased, it's not here yet, a crystal ball. Okay? And I'm going to have it right there with a sign that says, when will my guitar be ready? And that's going to be in front of this sign that says, we cannot commit to turnaround times. It'll be right there where the case is right now. A crystal ball. So find out when your guitar will be ready. That's how you find out. Will, meaning something in the future that I can't predict, but I will have a crystal ball right there. And I just bought it a few days ago on Amazon. I can put a Amazon link if you want to buy one. I bought the biggest one. They're expensive. They better work. So you must know that I'm tired of people asking me, when will my guitar be ready? So I just want to put as much signage in front of the shop that kind of emphasizes the fact that I don't know when. And that it doesn't matter when it will be ready. A friend of mine who's also a luthier / repair person, repair technician. He's both, right? In Oregon, he says, well, he told me that he told some customers that he can only guarantee that he will not stay up all night just so that you can have your guitar back a day earlier. I I don't exactly say that to my customers, but apparently he did use that line. I'll show you the crystal ball when it arrives. It should be here on Monday, according to Amazon tracking. Then I need to make a sign, and I'm not really sure how I'm gonna, if the sign should be just like, so the crystal ball will be on a stand. So should I just put a sign underneath, like a mat? I don't know, because I don't want it to be in front of the crystal ball, right? Maybe it could be next to it, but I kind of like it in front. So I got to work on that. That's a project. Okay, friends, this looks good. Okay. And now I can start recharging this thing. This one. Now this one's different. That's the new one. And it doesn't seem to be heating up. So for the other one, I don't need to worry. I don't think so. And then I have another one as well. This one, the orange one. 5-speed thingy. A 5? Yeah, 5-speed. Okay, come on. Why can't this thing, focus? 5-speed. Whatever. Yeah, I wish it was red. But it's not. So, close enough. Orange. It's like a Home Depot orange. Or prison jumpsuit orange. All right. What's happening there behind me? All right. You don't hear anything because this is a dynamic microphone, right? It doesn't pick up ambient sounds. Okay. Let's move on. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference, but I can see the difference here between this fret and this fret. There is a small difference. So let me put the guitar like this. Let me try to zoom in maybe. Do you see the difference? I think you do, right? Because I'm looking at the screen right now, and I can see the difference. And I think that this power tool, this one, spins faster than the other one I was using before. And I think that's a contributing factor. But speed is dangerous. It can overheat the fret, so you got to be careful. Which is why I keep moving it. It totally was the right call not to do any sandpaper, yeah, polishing, or whatever you want to call it, sanding, polishing. Micromesh. Yeah, man. This is my typical work day. But, you know, I do have to say that I do feel fortunate that I can do this for a living, because I like doing it. So, and I wish if people watching this, if this is what they would love to do, or if this is what they're doing and they love doing it, that's great. But for those hoping to do this for a living, yeah, you got to start somewhere. So you start at the bottom. You work your way towards higher levels. So I would say it's important to always be willing to work outside of your comfort zone, but one step at a time, right? So at one point, if you start, you know, small, and you just do the restringing and setups, at one point you're going to have to do a bridge reglue or a refret or a level crown polish. So you got to be careful what you take in order to work outside of your comfort zone. So since I'm doing frets, let's talk about refrets or fret work. So for sure, you would want to do a level crown and polish as a novice, right? Before you tackle a refret. And every level crown and polish isn't the same. So you would want to do a level crown and polish of a guitar that doesn't have, like for your first level crown polish, right? just to kind of see if you can do it, right? I would say avoid maple fretboards at the beginning. So with maple fretboards, there can be issues. Okay, one issue. The poly finish that Fender used on some guitars can actually peel off. So if you tape off the fingerboard, the fretboard, and you work on the frets and then you peel off the tape, it can peel off some or a lot of the finish. That is not an experience you want when you are growing and getting started in the business. So for sure, you don't want to be damaging people's guitars, right? The other reason why you should avoid maple fretboards at the beginning is because of the way some fretboards are made. Some maple fretboards are made. So I was a big band. So some of them have frets installed over the finish, and some of them have the frets installed before they spray the finish. So when it's finish over the frets, they kind of clean up the fret tops, but the finish kind of wraps around the crown, the two sides of the crowns. And when you do a fret polish, or even when you do a recrowning, that can be not the greatest experience. And in some cases, you actually need to do a refret instead of a level crown polish on those fretboards, depending how much fret wear there is, how flat the frets are on top, etc. Sometimes you just need to remove the frets and then plane the fingerboard, and then reinstall the frets and refinish, or refinish and reinstall, depending which procedure you want. So once again, another reason to avoid maple fretboards for beginner technicians who are just getting into level crown and polish work. What else can I tell you? Yeah, you would want to start your level crown and polish work on a guitar that has a nut that's easy to remove. So you kind of need to look at the nut and see, is it deep, is it seated deeply inside of a nut shelf that's more like a slot? So on some Fender guitars, they're all inside of a slot, right? You can easily remove the nut, and sometimes no. And again, if you have a maple fretboard and it's sprayed after they install the frets, it's also sprayed after they install the nut, that nut is not necessarily gonna come out easily, right? But if it's a rosewood, or they have other woods like laurel, Indian laurel, whatever, Palfera, whatever, you should be able to remove the nut easily, unless they super glued it with a bunch of super glue, which you don't know if they did. On some Epiphone guitars, it's easy to remove the nut. Yeah, most of them. On Gretsch guitars, they spray on some of them. They spray the, I think it's black finish over the headstock after they install the nut. So it kind of wraps around the back end of the nut. Good luck removing that without scratching anything or damaging the finish. So the reason why you would want to work on a guitar that has the type of nut that's easy to remove is because when you remove the nut, you can do your leveling, your sanding past the nut, okay? And again, that's easier than having to stop before you hit the nut, okay? Because you can do broader strokes with a sanding beam. Okay, and now let's say you want to start doing refrets. Okay, you feel comfortable with the level crown polish. So the same thing with the refrets. Stay away from maple fingerboards at first, for reasons that I just explained. Same reasons. Because sometimes when you remove the frets from a maple fingerboard, sometimes you can get away with installing frets in the same places, and it won't be too visible. But honestly, good practice is just plane the fingerboard, and you're gonna respray it and make it look nice. So it's not the same kind of refret that you would do on a rosewood fingerboard. Richlite is a material that is used by Martin. I've refretted Richlite fingerboards, and a few actually. It's not fun, okay? And if it chips, you cannot touch it up like you could touch up ebony. So you really don't want to be refretting a Richlite fingerboard unless you're really experienced with refrets. But the first fret work that less experienced technicians should start doing would be dressing the frets, or the fret end dressing. In other words, if you have fret sprout, you know how to take care of that. You've seen me do this on this channel. And maybe spot leveling. Also leveling off a little follow-away on the fingerboard extension on an acoustic guitar. That would be like almost like a level crown polish of a small section of the fingerboard. That can be done very quickly, actually. But yeah, that's the thing. If you don't work outside of your comfort zone, you never make progress. It's just that you should, just take one step at a time. Don't do too much. There will always be another guitar that people will bring. So. Four frets left. not much left to be done to this guitar. I think the work on the nut will make a difference. And that's why I titled this live stream Perfecting the Nut, right? The nut was functioning, but it had those little issues that we've seen with the wiggly strings, which is, you know, you could say a big deal. Unacceptable. Yeah, those sloppy people at the Eastman factory. I can't believe they would do something like that. I hope they're not watching. Maybe I'll send them this guitar back, you know, so they can learn from it. Yeah, I bought a Fender Strat Indonesian. I want to make a review, and I still haven't done it. Haven't had time. But I did buy it to kind of boost my viewing hours on my main channel. But it does me no good if it just sits in that case there. It's kind of like that humidifier that people buy and never use. Yeah. Okay, I'm just recharging. Okay, friends, what's next? Toxic chemical, I guess. Yeah, a little bit. Why not? We love toxic chemicals. Oh, look at that, quite a few comments. I can't read it. I am reusing this glove to save money and to save the environment. Yeah, you can reuse them. I flip it and then I let it dry and then I flip it back. You can reuse. They used to reuse condoms when they were first invented. Okay, where's my toxic chemical? I don't know, some people still might be reusing them, I don't know. I don't ask what people do. Speaking of people, all those people left. I wanted to talk to one of them, but Well, he wanted to talk to me, but he saw I was busy. Well, we kind of did talk before his rehearsal. Okay. You see, that's the buffing compound. Yeah. Let's do some more cleaning before we do the waxing or the oiling. Look at that. Still. This week, I was so busy. I don't know if you watch my channel, some of you watching now, but I have this playlist I'm doing with special guest Dr. Williams. So she needs to finish that guitar. And it's taking up space here. But, you know, I kind of couldn't really have her this week. It wasn't her fault. Yeah. Look, still coming out. I wonder if some of it might be ebony. Must be. Okay. Yeah, once a customer came back and said I didn't clean it well, yeah, he was right. So, yeah, so it was embarrassing. But that's why I get paid the big bucks, you know, I told you. But anyway, I had to restring it and clean it and take care of everything. And he was okay with it. All right, let's put some oil. It's gonna look good. What do you think? And I have this terry cloth. Cotton. I use it just for this. This is why it's gray. Maybe it's time to retire it. Okay. And now, you know, we'll just put the strings on. And, you know, finish the setup. Yeah, man. I'll reuse the glove again. Like they used to reuse. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Well, it's not like it's not as if the guitar was terrible when it came in, but now it's even better. Just a little cleaning. Oh, I'm going to use this today, the Dunlop. Oh, just a little bit. You see, I cleaned the pickup. Now you can see some scratches. I didn't do that. I just removed the biofilm from the pickup, or whatever, the patina, and exposed micro scratches. Just making sure that these are not spinning in any way. They're not. So why am I cleaning a guitar that's not dirty? Well, first I can see the difference, right? And I like to tell people that you shouldn't clean the guitar when it's dirty. You should clean the guitar before it's dirty. And I like to use the laundry analogy. It's same with you know, washing your clothes. You don't want to wait until people start noticing that you're dirty, right? Before you do your laundry. So, you know, we do it before the clothes are actually dirty. The same with bathing, right? Unless we worked in a coal mine. Yeah, so sometimes people bring guitars that are really dirty, like they pulled it out of the sewer. And, you know, honestly, I do charge extra for that. So, just so we're clear. And I don't mind cleaning it, but it's going to cost extra. And there is no option that I wouldn't clean it. So here's a good example. I can see a little patina. I don't know if the camera's going to catch this on the ebony. So I'll try to show you. So you can see here. So this is from, you know, let's be nice and call it biofilm, but it's cheese. That's a microscopic layer of, you know, cheese from the fingers. And what I'm going to do is, you see, I already took my glove off, so I'm going to reuse it again. I have another one that I've also reused. But I am going to make sure this is clean and also oiled. And I honestly just forgot to do that. And here I also have the cover, truss rod cover. So we'll do that as well. So you see, I'm going to reuse this. So this was now, the outside was on the inside, which is why I flip it. And I don't want to blow in it because, you know, that would introduce moisture and then it becomes sticky. But you just saw how I flipped it, right? And now I can reuse it with the toxic chemical. So the reason I'm using this glove is because I don't want this toxic chemical to come in contact with my skin. Some people think it's no big deal, but it actually is a big deal. When you put hand lotion on your cream, right, it seems to disappear. It gets absorbed by the skin, right? So it's the same with this. Any kind of toxic chemicals like this, the skin just absorbs them. Yeah, I just noticed a nice design feature here. It's hard to show it on camera. All right. So what have we here? We have, all right, this, which I'm going to clean. And this, I see a little biofilm as well. So we're going to clean it. Yeah, you see? I can see little particles of whatever. That skin, right? Well, some ebony comes comes off as well, I'm sure. But yeah, all right. Now let it dry. We can already oil this. I wonder if I should oil it here as well, just to protect it. I think I should. And here we have the little screw. Okay, I have my terry cloth. Yeah, we want to do that because this guitar now was in my space for, I think, a couple of weeks actually. And it's, you know, humidity controlled, so now it's, you know, well humidified, or I should say properly humidified. I'm talking about the wood is properly humidified, right? So now we seal the open grain, and as we all know, water and oil don't mix, so this microscopic layer of oil is just slowing down the transfer of moisture. I've seen ebony with fractures before, right? And the underside was pretty dry, so it's absorbing a lot of the oil. It was also kind of, it is rough, you know, the surface is rough. It's not like the top. It's been sanded only maybe up to about 320 grit sandpaper or something. I don't know exactly, but okay. Okay, that's much better. All right. I'm going to put a really thin layer as well on the bottom. I mean, I only put thin layers anyway, right? So, and This is marked off. That's the base side. They wrote a date, I think, or something. I think it's also a little bit thicker, right, on the base side. And then we have this. You know, because it looks so dry, I'm actually going to remove this plate and yeah. Okay, this fits. It'll just take a minute. See, it's really dry. I don't think anything would happen if we didn't do this, but I really feel that it's better to protect it. Yeah. I worked on a lot of guitars this week, and like I said, I wasn't streaming. Which day was it? I think I did like 9 guitars. They didn't require more than setups. Oh, no, some of them I had to finish some jobs. Was it 9 guitars? On Wednesday. What's today? Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, I can do it if I really want to. But I can, you know, if I really want to do like high volume, I can't have any distractions. I just need to focus on the work. So, well, the only distraction was actually YouTube. I was, you know, I put my headphones on, wireless, and I just put a video here on screen, and I just, you know, focus on the work and just try to do as much work as possible So is this gonna, oh, it fits, okay. I did have a little trouble removing it. I don't need this anymore. Okay. Now we have a connection between, oh, now I know why this is a brass plate, because of the strings, so that the strings are grounded. And okay, again, that's the bass side. And here we know which one is the bass side because of the string slots. So it's like this. Yeah. Okay, and now this. So I have the two screws here. And now I'm looking at the pick guard, and I can't see that, you know, finger thing anymore, which was the whole idea, right? Just want to make sure this is tight. Yeah. This is also tight. And we can, now we can put the strings on and just do a little setup, and we're done. Oh, I'll need this for the truss rod cover. Okay, so strings. I got too much junk. All right, so these are flat wounds with a wound G. I don't really like it when they individually pack the strings. This is one reason why I like the Dario. You just open the pack, you open the bag, and all 6 strings come out. So I'll put the 2 E strings first. They will be holding the bridge in place. And like I said, this is marked off because the bridge left a footprint right there. So I'll put it in the same exact place. Nothing I can do about this right now. And I'm going to wind them with a winder. So when I install flat wounds, I never do a lock. It doesn't work with flat wounds. So just that simple method. 1 over and then under is what works with flat wounds. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the live stream, but what am I forgetting? Huh? I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? Well, see, this has this silk here, but yeah, it's too far away. We're not going to be able to utilize this silk part. That's just how it is. The owner did have, yeah, I'm not really like happy about this, but it is what it is. Because the owner had like a bumblebee wrap here, and we really can't have that. So I'm just gonna do it this way. Oh, it doesn't fit through. Okay. So then we do it this way. We can't have that bumblebee wrap with multiple wines going over and over again. You know. So now it's going to be just fine this way. So yeah, I was asking, what am I forgetting? Something I'm forgetting. Well, technically I'm not forgetting because I'm remembering. I'm putting the bridge back in the same exact spot. So, like I showed you before, the bridge did leave an impression in the finish. And the strings aren't at full tension right now. So we have a little bit of a center line issue. You see? So the bridge wants to go in this direction. So this tailpiece, so now when I go like this, you can see that this string is pulling in this direction. You see that, right? And this string is also like that. So technically, we need to just bend the tailpiece like this, but we can't really do that. Well, so what's going to happen is when the strings are at full tension, they will hold the bridge down. But you can clearly see that this is pushing it back in this direction, right? And that's a center line issue. So it's this angle of the neck that's a little bit off, because this is in the middle, or maybe it's the tailpiece itself that's not angled, that's, you know, not made exactly on spec. We have here a center line going, visible center line. You know, it's not even book matched, but there's a glue joint. So yeah, these two pieces don't look like they're book matched. So now I wonder if the neck, this is dental floss. So I'm looking down at this. You can't really see it with the camera. No, so the neck is okay. Okay? Because if it wasn't, then I wouldn't be hitting here exactly between the D and the G strings. Okay? So this tells me that the neck angle is okay, which means it's really the tailpiece that's a little bit off. So now I could shim it here to angle it like that. There's no way to bend it, really, right? And I really can't get involved in this kind of repair, especially without discussing something about the job with the customer. But this is a little bit off. All right, so back to my question. What am I forgetting that I'm not really forgetting? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. This is it. The lubricant. Okay. So this one is too, this is a thinner tip, a smaller tip. And the E string is sometimes tricky. Not in this case, because it's too wide at the top, so I can put this inside, yeah. Yeah, you can see, like that. Okay. And we're almost done. So when you lubricate a bone nut, it's going to absorb the lubricant. You can see some discoloration. Now that goes away, but the thing is that you want to keep that in mind because you don't want to over lubricate it. I think sometimes that discoloration can stay if you really put a lot. Okay, so something to keep in mind. So on this string, you can see we'll be able to utilize a little bit of the silk, which is good, okay? Just a little bit of it. So this much. That's it. So bend it here. Go over this way. All right, now on the other side, this did come loose. So I need to hook it. All right. And yeah. Yeah, you know, I can restring a guitar very quickly. But, you know, whenever I work with expensive flat wound strings, I like to slow down a little bit. Okay, and on this one, obviously, we get to use the silk part. So I'm just going to pinch it here. Okay, we don't want to rotate the string, which is why I'm going to loosen it and put it back on, right? Yeah, so you see how, because the D and G strings are so far apart, now this string is just almost hitting this tuning post, almost. And it's the same on D'Acquisto guitars. It's got a wide headstock. we are almost done. So, the string, I'm not sure if it hits the toner or not. You know, it's right there. You know, it's really not ideal in my opinion. But Jimmy D'Acquisto, he was doing the same thing. And I think this guitar is based on D'Acquisto design, right? Okay. Making sure that on the bridge everything is okay. Let me make sure. Also put approximate height. I wish I could move it a little bit because it really is not in the right place, but it's got that little groove, right? So, since the guitar, since the center line is on the tailpiece is not where it needs to be, before I put more tension on the string, and since it wants to pull it in that direction when this string is tight, I'm going to tighten this string first. Just double checking. Again, I put the bridge exactly where it was before. So just a little bit off. So I'm doing these strings first. Mm-hmm. it moved the bridge a little bit off to the side. I wonder if I release, if I tighten this screw a little bit, and if I release the one on the base side, just a touch, it'll form a natural gap. You know, unnoticeably, but and the intonation is just going to be approximate because it doesn't have a fully compensated bridge. Let's check the neck relief. Where I have my feeler gauges? Oh, here. So we want 6/1000ths of an inch. It's 5. And here also, right? 5 is also good, but I'm just going to release a tiny bit. Okay, it barely passes. Barely passes. Okay. That's good. All right. And now we can put the truss rod cover back. So that's another little oversight here. The hole, I don't know if that's intentional, is here. So is this screw even long enough to really hold it in place? Because we don't want this thing to rattle. Am I hitting the hole? No, I'm hitting the hole. Okay. I did have a guitar. Well, I didn't have the guitar, a custom product guitar, where there was some noise coming from here because the single screw truss rod cover was not, you know, really tight. So seems to be okay. Yeah, so these two strings are just too far apart. That's the design. Okay. Okay, don't need this anymore. I kind of want to See what kind of action we have. Too low. All right, so we need to raise it. All right. Sometimes you need to jack up the archtop bridge to raise it, but here it works fine this way. So I don't remember discussing the action with the customer. So let me just check if there are any notes on the repair order. No. Let me see how the frets play. Just a little higher. I think I might, do some tweaks when the customer picks up the guitar. It'll be easy to tweak it a little bit if he wants any kind of fine tuning. But we're basically done with the setup. I don't know how to play jazz, so, don't ask me to do it. But it is an electric guitar, so we do need to check the pickup. So we're not done until we're done. those are my jazz chords. All chords are jazz chords. Yeah, so to be perfectly honest, I'm not like real happy with the fact that the tailpiece wants to reposition the bridge in this direction. So that's really something that is a factory manufacturing issue. There's no other way to explain it. It's not easily solvable unless they send a new tailpiece that fits the way it should. But yeah. So this piece isn't bent in the right spot. So when they, how should I explain this? Let's see if I can explain it somehow. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to cut two pieces. To explain this. Okay, so now let's look at a top view, and let's use, well, how about if I use my credit card terminal to explain? So imagine this is the guitar. Yeah, let's turn it off. And let's imagine this is a tailpiece. So now it's properly aligned with the guitar. So it's bent exactly at a 90-degree angle against this center line here. I don't want to mess up my thing. I think you know what I mean. Right? So if there's a center line here, pop, 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 pop. This is a 90-degree angle. And then it fits like this, and the strings are, you know, the string pull is equal on both sides. But let me draw a center line here. The way that this thing is slightly like this. So I'm exaggerating, but that's how this thing is. Okay, slightly like this. So if we can get a replacement tailpiece that's like that, it'll solve the problem. And, you know, technically, I guess you could move it like this and shim it here, so you have a gap. And that would also kind of solve the problem. Again, it wouldn't be a huge gap like here, because this is really subtle. So what I did was I released the tension of this screw here. And I'm just twisting it. I mean, I'm just driving it deep enough to kind of come into contact with the plate. But it's really not tight. Now this one is tight. Okay, and the bottom one is tight. So this isn't going to move anywhere. So we have these three screws. And this one is loose. And that is to compensate so that this whole tailpiece can kind of move in this direction a little bit. There's a microscopic gap here. which you can see, you can measure. Here's the gap, right there. It's a bigger gap than this, but you can easily miss it if you don't know what you're looking for. And this helps move this whole tailpiece in this direction. So, oddly enough, my Gibson L7C has the same issue. And I kind of, you know, resolved it in the same way. So building a guitar is a complex thing. And especially guitars with these tailpieces, you know, can have this issue. I've seen it on trapeze tailpieces and Bixby's, and yeah, definitely. Let me see again. Mm-hmm. I'm just double checking everything. The guitar does have a little bit of a fall away past the neck joint, which is a good thing if set up correctly. You need to have the right relief, and you need to have the right string height. So I think this is going to work. The judge will be the owner of this guitar, my customer. So he'll be back from his trip on April 11th, I think he said. Today's the 5th. And then we'll see. Okay. Oh, look at that. 3 hours and 17 minutes long project. Longer than I wanted it to be. So now, like I said before, I have this Fender, Indonesian Fender Strat. I want to review for the main channel. I don't know if I might stay later just to shoot a review. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, friends. So Joe Rust, I think it's your first time here. I don't know if you're still here. Maybe. Only 4 people watching. All right, friends. I'm gonna let you go now because I need to yeah, put this guitar in the case, put it back, and that's it for tonight. Yeah. I guess I'll see you next week. All right, how about that? All right. Good night. Make sure you, oh, 6 likes already. All right, that's good. And only 4 watching. All right. That's good. Okay, bye-bye.